皆さんこんにちは、はなです。今日メダリスト第18話を見ています。皆さんオリンピックを見ましたか？どう思いましたか？見てくれてありがとうございます。Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel and to another video. Today we are reacting to Medalist Season 2, Episode 5, so Episode 18. First things first, I always forget to do this right now. Hi, if this is your first time with the channel, my name is Hannah and I am a competitive figure skater who just made her return to skating last weekend. I've been skating total for almost 23 years, which is a very long time, so I like to say I know a thing or two about skating. These reactions are not just about me watching the show, this is about me breaking things down. I talk about the details, I talk about how realistic it is, and also sometimes just completely break down in tears because it means so much to me, and I relate to a lot of the things that happen a lot. So if you're interested in seeing a figure skater's perspective about this show, then I'm your girl. Last episode was an emotional roller coaster with Inori not only competing but also winning first place in the block championship, so she is headed to her first All Japans only about a year and a half after she started skating, which is very crazy, by the way. Is it impossible for a skater to start skating at a competitive level and then a year and a half later qualify to their national championships at a level that's not the senior level that goes to the Olympics, but just a few down? It's not entirely impossible, it's just very rare. Before we dive into today's video, however, I do want to just say a quick mention of the Olympics. I'm gonna actually talk a lot about it after we watch the episode just because I'm sure some people here just want to see my reaction to the anime and don't really care too much about my thoughts on the Olympics, like real skating, so I'm gonna put that in the tail end after we watch it so those who don't want to see that can click off. But if you want to hear my thoughts on the Olympics outside of what I'm about to say, make sure you stick to the end. But I cannot express to you enough how happy I am for Alyssa Liu. I cannot believe she is the Olympic champion. Last year when she won Worlds, I told you all that I was so happy. This time I don't really know how to even put it into words because the Olympics are such a big deal, and what is going on with my sport right now is actually insane because there are so many people who I know or follow that have nothing to do with the skating world that are talking about her and buzzing, and what she's doing for this sport I think is absolutely incredible. I do have some mixed emotions about the result of these Olympics because I did want Kaori Sakamoto to take home the gold, but she did make a very, very big mistake, which I'm gonna break down after this episode. So if you're interested in kind of understanding why her mistake cost her so many points when it didn't look like it was much, I will talk about that afterwards. But overall, this podium was such a beautiful podium. All three of those skaters were stunning skaters who I love dearly with all of my heart. So it's like, on one hand, I am ecstatic for Alyssa. On the other hand, I am devastated for Kaori. Like, those two coexist in my heart right now. But it was an incredible night of skating. The women's event saved these Olympics for me because honestly, well, pairs turned out pretty good as well. But leading up to it, it was a pretty tough Olympics. So what a wonderful women's event. So much better than 4 years ago. 4 years ago was traumatizing. But that's enough about it for now. Like I said, I will talk about it after the episode. So we are going to dive right in. But before we do, don't forget to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and leave a comment your thoughts. If you are interested in seeing my reactions to the show early and unedited, feel free to join my Patreon. It is linked in the description. But with that, let's get into it. My Disney Plus was down for a hot minute, so I'm recording this a little bit later than I wanted to. I feel like no matter what I do with the show, I've been like delayed in almost every single episode for a bunch of different reasons. Here we go. Is that is not a Japanese name. Is that Ryo's mom? How did Ryo do? Has he not skated yet? Is it on a different day? Oh, that's right. I almost forgot how the last episode ended. Why does he want to be so secretive? Why does... This is very dramatic. What is happening? Are we gonna meet that girl? They're all so cute. Middle school was very late, and he was already at the Olympics. So many skaters start that way. I feel like most of us can always go back to just watching skating at some point in our lives on our TV and being like, that looks cool. I want to do that. There are a lot of skaters who start because they're skating like in their family. A lot of former skaters will start their kids. Like I'll probably put my future kids in skating lessons, see if they like it. I'm not going to ever like force them to do it just because I did it. A lot of those kids also have like natural talent, but a lot of us just start because we see it on TV, someone captivates us and we want to be like them. Like I was that way with Sasha Cohen. I saw the 2002 Olympics. Sarah Hughes won, but I guess I took to Sasha Cohen a little bit more, and then she went on to win the silver medal at the Olympics in 2006, and I had already started skating. I was 3 years into it at that point, but it kept me motivated, and she was so kind to me too, so most of us start that way. A lot of us imitate skaters a lot too. I remember I at one point had Ashley Wagner's free skate completely memorized in my head. Completely. Does he live there? Jet lag, where was he then? Oh, he was in Russia. He was in Russia with Hikaru. He has no idea that they like have already met. I think JUN is actually probably a really kind person. He just is one of those like strange, like just introverts. They really have crazy schedules there. Huh. That's like if I'm trying to imagine what it would be like for me if like Sasha Cohen and Ashley Wagner both were like, let's go skating together. Or like in present terms, it would be like if Alyssa Liu and Amber Glenn met me and were like, let's go skating together. That's how I would feel right now. Just completely like, I don't belong here. What is happening? Craziness. The schedule in Japan for skating is very strange. Iku? Ikanai? Breathe. Breathe, TSUKASA. Oh, they even have like the lights down and everything. This is an interesting turn of events that's happening here. That's what I would do. I would die. I would just fall over and embarrass myself. I want to disappear. Well, they're probably freestyle skates. And he's been in ice dance skates. It's a very different. So actually, when I came back to skating in the summer of last year, I switched back from my ice dance blades to my freestyle blades because my last competition season before I like retired was solo ice dance. So I actually got, they're right here. I got these are regular freestyle boots. They were just really old. I was very broke, and so my coaches were like, I have a pair of these skates that are old, but like since it's ice dance, it should work. And then they put these ice dance blades. So ice dance blades are a little bit different. You'll notice the biggest difference is these heels. They don't stretch out past the heel as far because it's a shorter, more round blade. And then the toe pick is a lot smaller than a freestyle blade because they're not trying to do any toe pick jumps. So freestyle blades tend to have really big toe picks so that you can launch yourself into the air using your toe pick for like the toe jumps. But in ice dance, since you don't jump, you can do a smaller one and then have like a bigger, more, I'm trying to say this in ways that will make people understand. It's a bigger rocker, so it's like a rounder blade because with ice dance, it's all about your edges, your turns, like that sort of thing. So it's built very differently from a freestyle blade. So when I came back over the summer last year, I got back into my freestyle skates, got them sharpened, got them ready to go. And I got out on the ice and it was, I think, a mix of switching back to freestyle blades was like, whoa. And also I just hadn't really skated much over the past like 5 years prior. I got on the ice and I almost tripped and fell immediately. Like I skated up to my coach and she's all like, you're back. Like she's all excited and I almost like fall into her arms. It was very funny. So yeah, that can happen because freestyle blades, and I say freestyle as in those are for anyone who jumps. So anyone in any other discipline outside of ice dance are going to use freestyle blades. And then ice dance blades, very different feeling. It takes a little while to get used to. And then like TSUKASA on top of it right now is obviously feeling very nervous and like shell-shocked is the best way I can describe it, I guess. Like I would be shell-shocked if two of my like favorite skaters who were inspirational to me when I started would be like, hey, let's go skate together. Like I love this character arc for TSUKASA. I talk about INQUIRES a lot, but even TSUKASA, like as a coach, he's growing because he went from someone who like wasn't even a coach at the beginning of the show. He was getting offered an assistant coach role. He's now like making a name for himself. Like I think personally, it would be interesting to see if they show a side to him now where it's like, now that he has this block champion, there's gonna be skaters who are gonna want to like go to his club and be coached by him specifically. I know in Japan it's a little bit different, like coaches are genuinely like tied to a club. Here in America, a coach will be a member of a club and they'll have their home club, but their skaters can represent any club. They can join whatever club they want. Here in Arizona, there's like multiple clubs. Pretty much every single ice rink here has a different club. And I'm actually a member of a club at the rink that I skate at, probably the least, but that's because that's my coach's home rink and it's been my club since I started skating in Arizona. So anyway, here, like if a coach has a super successful skater, whether they go to nationals, whether they win nationals, whether they go to worlds and they win worlds, whether they go to the Olympics, right? People are going to automatically want to start going to that coach. That coach can now charge more money because they have the accolades. Like I think Alyssa Liu's coaches, for example, should be getting a lot of emails from young parents, young skaters who are like, we'd like our skater to be coached by you because you're the coach of Alyssa Liu who just won the freaking Olympics, right? So random tangent. I feel like I say that every single episode though, so see what? That he's still skating and can just jump easily. What is this like lo-fi music? This is crazy, man. That was like a triple Lutz. Triple flip, triple loop. Maybe he's doing doubles. Again, the rotations are kind of hard to call. But I'm assuming they're triples. Sounds like Yuzuru Hanyu. So he just kept going, yeah. There's like a void. Is he gonna come back? Okay. Because he's the Olympic champion, so he'll get plenty of time. Yeah. Don't hurt yourself. You were an ice dancer and you're retired. Don't just like... That's so dangerous. Yeah, so she just gets, like, and she learns from watching. She's one of those special people. Yeah, you have to continue to learn if you want to be a good coach. I think that was just a single, so he's not trying anything crazy. He can do an axel though, can't he? So maybe that was a double. They're both getting noticed. A backflip? That's so random. Interesting. This is interesting since there was a lot of backflip discourse at the Olympics. This is very dangerous. I don't like that. And, but he's growing as a coach. He doesn't want to be in shows anymore. He won't leave Inori, and he has a career in front of him now. So he's like Hikaru. It's the difference between believing in a skater and following the status quo of saying Inori started too late. This was a very interesting turn of events. I'm trying to, like, wait for this to end before I say something. What did he just say? Might become a good coach. But that... Okay. He's just saying... He's saying, like, Hikaru's going to become the Olympic champion in their book, so there's no there's nothing above being an Olympic champion. Yeah, he wants to make her as dominant as, like, even, like, Kaori Sakamoto is very dominant. Like, Kaori Sakamoto would have been one of... I mean, she already is. So, like, Kaori Sakamoto is the best in the world. Like, I will say it till I'm blue in the face. She is the best in the world. But skating is competition. They are mean. The rules are mean. Like, and she was a victim of, like, a very specific rule at these Olympics that cost her the gold medal and Alyssa Liu to win. Kaori is a better skater all around than Alyssa Liu. But Alyssa Liu can do something that Kaori struggles with, and that is just go out and do her job every single time that she skates, right? So what I'm trying to say is, I was thinking about this earlier, and, like, I can't blame Kaori if she feels a little bit, like, I don't know if bitter is the right word, But if Alyssa hadn't shown up last season, if she hadn't unretired, Kaori would be literally, she would have 4 world titles and an Olympic title now. Because she was winning everything. And then Alyssa showed up and Worlds last year and now the Olympics was able to win gold. And like put pressure on Kaori that she didn't really have prior to Alyssa showing up because no one was able to touch her. But then Alyssa shows up with this like consistency that no one else can do because of her mindset. So it's like what JUN is trying to do is make Hikaru Kaori, but without an Alyssa Liu. But TSUKASA is trying to make Inori that Alyssa Liu, who's putting the pressure on Hikaru. But Alyssa was a child prodigy when she was young. She won her first national title at 13 at the senior level, right? So that's like where it differs. But I'm trying to like explain this in a way that makes sense. JUN's just trying to make Hikaru a skater that can't be beat because there's no way to beat someone who's winning gold medals. I have a lot of other thoughts on this scene. I'm trying to let the rest of it play though. He does, because he is. And he's not wrong. Yeah, she's been undefeated since she started. That's true. I don't think Inori is ready to beat Hikaru. We're way too early. Okay. Whew, that gave me chills. Okay, okay. So that scene was interesting. First things first, just telling someone to do a backflip that's never done one before, that is so freaking dangerous. That is, the reason that backflips were banned for so long was because they were dangerous. Because if something goes wrong, you are now flipping with your head to the ice. And so because this isn't gymnastics where that's like the foundation of what gymnasts are doing is flipping with their head facing the ground, like, you know, skating has never been that. Skating, you can slip off an edge. Like, there's so many variables. So that's why it was banned for so long. And it wasn't until, like, Adam Xiaohim-Fa from France really, like, proved that you can just do it and it's pretty easy. Backflips, from what I've heard, like, I've never tried one and I never will. Backflips, from what I've heard, are actually, like, generally fairly easy for skaters who can land, like, triple jumps. So TSUKASA being able to do it when he clearly can't land a triple jump is very impressive. So, like, what JUN is saying is partially correct. He's literally calling out that TSUKASA is a talented skater who shouldn't have retired because he could have been very successful at his own career and would be incredibly successful in shows now that people are aware of him. But you, like, there's that back and forth, like that kind of person. It's making TSUKASA so nuanced because he has the potential to have his own career, truly. He could probably go back to competing. He could probably be like a very successful show skater and tour the country and maybe even the world and have all of these accolades in that way. But he gave up, but he's found this new passion in teaching Inori. But on one hand, like, there is that level of, are you willing to give up a career that's about you to make it a career about someone else? Kind of. Like, that's kind of what a coach does, is most coaches are former competitive figure skaters that were quite successful. Eventually, you have to retire because skating is not something you can do at that level for a very long time. I mean, you know, Amber Glenn is talking about the fact that she's pretty much said she's not going for the next Olympics because she'll be 30. And she's like, my body's barely holding up now. And I understand as someone who's almost 30, like, and not doing the level jumps that she's doing. But I feel like this was a very, very nuanced and interesting scene because there is that level of, if someone were to give up early because of their circumstances, and now he has the Olympic champion telling him, like, you could do this, but Inori is behind. Like, it's so interesting how they're writing this because it's true. And I'm trying to figure out a way to, like, explain this better, but I can't. But I can just say, what an interesting way to do it. Very interesting turn of events. And it makes TSUKASA an even better character. He's already my favorite character. But what they're doing is showing like his options are becoming more available to him. We're spending some time developing him, and I love that because TSUKASA is a character that I very much relate to, that I very much understand. But I'm kind of going down the different path. Like I'm not coaching. I'm going back to do something that benefits like me, really. Like it's selfish almost, right? But he's choosing to benefit himself through Inori. It's very interesting. Okay, let's keep watching. I've been recording for a long time. Ooh, we got private ice time at a big rink. This is the best time. This is such a weird revelation to me about how it works in Japan because ice time in America is literally, it runs from about 6 a.m. until about 5 p.m. And here they are saying this is the best time and it is dark outside. Here, that would not be considered the best time. I love TSUKASA. Three more days, okay. Oh? Who's watching? Oh, the alien girl. That's pretty cool. She's a part of a very exclusive group now. Sota. So we just didn't get to see them compete. I mean, we did spend a lot of time on that competition, so that makes sense. Why? Oh, there are only two of them? That's super common. So that's something that like is very common here too, is like the ratio of girl skaters to boy skaters is extreme. It's why it's like kind of hard to get into pairs. I feel like pairs is really just not very developed here because there's so many girls and not enough boys. Same with ice dance, although ice dance is a little bit more special here in America. Like we have a very long history of having like Olympic medalists. I was just looking it up for America. We've had an Olympic medalist in ice dance every Olympics since like 2006 or something. I think the last time there wasn't a US team on the podium at the Olympics was in 2002. And there's been a gold medal. Like we got gold in 2014, you know. So it's interesting. And I think it's partially because the culture here is still very like problematic. And it's seen as like all guys who skate are gay and that's bad, which is like we have made a lot of progress against that kind of mindset because there's so many things wrong with that, but it still is very like, I go to the rink, there's tons of boys there. They're on the hockey team. You know, it's very stereotypical. And then I get on the freestyle session and there's 20 skaters out there and we're all girls. Like, you know, it's definitely a thing. So in the case of Rio and Sota, I guess it was like, well, there's only two of you, so you're both going to all Japans. Like, there's not even really a point in having the competition outside of getting the chance to either win or lose. It kind of sucks when you have a group of two. That happens at local competitions here sometimes, where it's just like a local competition didn't have that many people sign up for the level you're in, and there's only two of you, and it's just like, well, I just don't really want second place because that kind of sucks. So. But it's also not as exciting to get first place when there's only two. It's interesting. I'm talking a lot. Oh my gosh, I've been recording for 42 minutes. Is she still in Russia? She's like, hey, not fair. I love their dynamic. It's so cute. Oh. Oh, it's her. Oh. Wait, was she one of the ones that was there as like a senior skater? Maybe I'm just forgetting. It is really cool to be able to skate. Like, I've skated at rinks with like much higher level skaters just like to see what it's like, I guess. Growing up in Arizona, we never had like big name skaters here who were doing like all these super high level jumps. You just kind of get used to everyone here just being like, okay, we had some skaters who were like working on triples, you know, competing at the senior level, but we didn't have like national champions, international competitors, right? So I would like go to California and visit family or whatever, because that's where I was born. And I would skate at a rink there. Like, I would skate at the rink that Ashley Wagner, Nathan Chen, and Adam Rapon trained at. And I wouldn't skate with them because their freestyles were like special. Like, they had a very specific time where they could skate that I was not high level enough. And you had to be coached by their coach to be on that ice. But I still got to skate on like a freestyle before or after. And even just getting to skate with these skaters who were higher level than me, it was very inspiring and very cool. So like I'm getting like in my feels about what it was like to do that when I was younger. It's very different because when you skate at your local rink all the time, usually you're skating with your friends and most of you are kind of in this similar level, but then you go to this like foreign place and you're competing with these like national, or not competing, you're skating with these national level people is like, oh my God, it's scary, first of all, but it's also very inspiring once you get over the fear of running into one of them accidentally. We've got another girl with black skates, which is still like not normal, but I would be okay with it. If more girls wore black skates and more guys wore white skates, like, why not? Is she one of the senior level skaters that I saw? Ooh, a cantilever. Or lay back spread eagle. Maybe they call that there. We work our cores a lot. It's good to have strong abs. Okay, this chick is cool. I feel like she's obviously older. Like, she's got to be at the senior level, right? When you go to Italy to the Olympics? Okay, so she's junior. Okay, so she's a junior and she's going to the junior Grand Prix circuit. Yeah? They are very competitive. Hikaru's here! And it's time. Mm-hmm. All right. It's time for the rivalry to actually really begin. All right. Is that the end of the episode? It sure looks like it. All right, so this was a very lore-heavy episode. I feel like we really started kind of shifting the story from where we were at with the competition, obviously. Like, we got through that. We only have 4 episodes left after this. We're already almost done, which is crazy. I hate how short the season is. I'm going to say it. I hate how short it is. I understand they have to set it up in a certain way, but man, oh man, like, first Demon Slayer only got 8 episodes in their last season before the movie, and now Medalist is only getting 9 episodes. Like, come on, I need more. Okay. I feel like I kind of worked through everything. This was a very like dialogue and lore heavy, so I don't feel like I have much else to add. I'm pretty excited to see more about this new chick who's in juniors. So the Junior Grand Prix is the Junior Grand Prix. So there's the Senior Grand Prix, which starts in October of every year, and there's 6 events where skaters get 2 assignments, and the top 6 from all of those assignments gets to go to the Grand Prix final. You get points for your placement at each Grand Prix, so like first place gets 15 points, second place gets 13 points, third place gets 9 points, etc. You only get the 2 chances, you don't get a do-over, they don't take the highest of what you do, it's literally just the amount of points you get from your placement, and then the top 6 in points go to the Grand Prix final. They do the same thing with juniors. Juniors, except they have like 8 Grand Prix assignments. Well, they have 8 Grand Prix competitions, they get 2 assignments, and they also get to compete at the Junior Grand Prix final, which is always really cool for them because the Junior Grand Prix takes place at like smaller rinks throughout the world. Like they travel all over the place. A lot of them take place in Europe. I find that like with the Junior Grand Prix, because those ones shift around, like it changes who gets to host Junior Grand Prix events. And then they're at like local rinks, but then if they qualify for the Grand Prix final, the Junior Grand Prix final, it happens at the same time as the Senior Grand Prix final in the same rink, which is a big arena with a ton of media. So it's like a really cool experience for the juniors to get to go to the Junior Grand Prix final because it's like a big international event, while the regular Junior Grand Prix are like smaller-ish events, it feels like. So those start in August and go up until like the end of September, and then the Senior Grand Prix starts in October. So it kind of like the season for like viewers really starts in August if you are interested. I like watching juniors because that made me aware of like Ami Nakai, who just won the Olympic bronze medal in the individual event because she was a junior last year. And I was like more aware of her because I paid attention. So anyway, good episode. Very interesting to see where it's going. We're at like a special rink, a special training camp with very high level skaters. Inori now gets to skate with Hikaru as not just like a peer, but as a rival like she's been wanting. So that's really, really exciting for her to do. I hope this inspires her and that they can remain friends even though they're about to become actual rivals. So let's talk Olympics really quick. I'm going to focus on the women's event. Quite frankly, most of the other events of the Olympics were underwhelming and or frustrating. The pairs was good. Riku and Ryuichi getting the gold was such a beautiful moment. I agree with them getting a world record score. I'm hearing people say they were overscored. I disagree. They are absolutely amazing when they are on. They are the best by a lot. So loved them getting that gold medal. Loved their reactions too. The way they finished skating their free skate and he was just sobbing was so cute. And then of course like the comeback, because you could tell he was very much blaming himself for them being in 5th after the short program, obviously because he put her down. So it was kind of like, if you have to say like whose fault is it, it was his because he put her down. But just really great to see that. But the women's event, okay. So like I said, I did have mixed feelings. Alyssa, I love. So like I'm very happy about her win, and I will say it till I'm blue in the face that she did deserve this gold. People are saying that there was a conspiracy, that judges were paid off so that USA could get a medal after a disappointing Olympics. I disagree. And people are saying that the US skaters are as overscored as the Russians. I disagree. I'm not going to get into it that much, but I'm very, very happy, and Alyssa deserved that win. Her jumps were clean. She was way better performing this program than she's done all season. And of course, this season's been very topsy-turvy. She's done like 4 different free skates, or 3, I guess. She's done MacArthur Park, which she did here, like 4 times, and she's done 2 different versions of Lady Gaga. Like, it's just been a crazy season for her. So when you compare like her components to the very beginning of the season to now, there is a bigger gap, which I agree with. Again, because she started this season at a very different place than she performed here, while the other skaters who had more like stagnant growth with their component scores didn't have the same like big difference. Like there was an obvious difference in the way Alyssa skated compared to like Kaori was like very consistent this entire season. So I agree with her score being higher here. I agreed with her score. I called it before it was announced that it was going to be like 150. And for the record, Kaori was poised to win by like 5 or 6 points. So for those of you who don't know kind of how it worked out, people are saying if Kaori had just done a single toe, she would have won, which is correct. That's not because the single toe loop is worth all these points where, she could have won because of it. She ended up losing by about 1.5 points behind Alyssa. She was about 2.5 points behind in the free skate, but had a little less than a point over her after the short program, which, by the way, I actually felt they kind of gifted her second in the short program. She looked very tight in the short program, and I think she got away with a lot. That Lutz in her short program, in my opinion, should have gotten negative GOE, because it was very messy looking. And she already has like a flutz, which we know, like it is what it is. She gets an exclamation mark. But I think she got away with a lot with that Lutz, because I personally, watching it, would have given it like a minus. I would have given her negative grade of execution on it, because it was not just that she flutz, because she flutzes every time, but she still makes it look nice. That one looked tight and rough. Anyway, it wasn't that I was like mad that she was ahead of Alyssa in the short program. I was just like, I think I would have actually given Alyssa the short program over Kaori. I would have put Alyssa second and Ami first, Kaori third. I think I would have put Isabeau fourth. I'm not gonna lie. Anyway, okay. So what Kaori did in the free skate, she does this thing called backloading, where she puts all of her difficult combinations in the second half. This is very risky, because she's already done a triple flip at the beginning of her program. She then does a triple flip, triple toe as her third to last jump. So what happened was she just slipped kind of on the entry, so she landed very forward. She couldn't do the combo, which is already a big point loss, because a triple toe is worth like 4.2 points with a 10% bonus, so like 4.3-ish or something along those lines. I can't do the math, and I'm not going to right now, but it's around like 4.5 points. So she lost 4.5 points just by not doing that jump. But, and the rules are very unforgiving, because she just did a triple flip again. You are allowed to repeat jumps, but you cannot do a jump twice as a solo jump, meaning she had to have one of those triple flips in a combo, because she'd already done a nice triple flip at the very beginning of her program. She planned to backload, which is very high reward if you do it well, because she did not do any jump after landing the triple flip, and it was another solo triple flip. She got a big triple flip plus rep, plus repeat, which means that it was only 70% of the base value of a triple flip. This is where I say things are unforgiving, and skaters know this. We are aware that this is the rule, where if you want to repeat a jump, it must be one time at least in combo. I cannot go out and do a single loop and then do another single loop by itself later. I would get plus repeat, and I'd only get 70% of the base value. So when people say that if she had just put a single toe on that triple flip, she would have won, they're not talking about the base value of the single toe. They are talking about the fact that then she would have gotten the full base value of the flip, and that would have added, with the single toe, like 2.5 points. She lost the gold by 1.5 points. So if she had just done a single toe there, even though she still would have lost the triple combo, she was so freaking good that she would have been able to win over a clean Alyssa, because she is a better skater than Alyssa. The judges were ready to give it to her, but she wasn't able to think that fast on her feet. And I've talked a lot about how skaters have to do math when we make mistakes, but in some cases, it's better to just go with the plan and just take the L. Kaori likely didn't know what Alyssa's score was. It's very common for you to try to not pay attention to what was happening before you. So in her mind, she's not aware that that's going to cost her the gold. She knows it's a mistake and that it might. And I think she did know immediately when she finished. It was really rough to see. Like, she was very emotional. And I think the crying and everything wasn't necessarily just because she lost the gold. I know she wanted that gold so bad. I think it also had to do with just like the emotional roller coaster of being at the Olympics. Like, there was probably some relief of finishing as well. Like, a skater like her who's been so dominant and is clearly the favorite and clearly the best in the world, when you finish, like, there's gonna be some emotional release, because you've been in this like state of fight or flight like the entire time you're there, because she wanted it so bad. But also I do think a lot of her tears was because she was so close to the gold and she wanted that gold so bad, and it would have been such a beautiful way to end her career. I think if she had won gold, she probably wouldn't do Worlds. I wouldn't be surprised if she does Worlds now and like gets that gold, because I very much think if she goes there and goes clean and Alyssa goes clean, like we will see them flip-flop at Worlds. Calorie will win, Alyssa will get second. I'm saying Amber because I think Amber, I want her to have a World Championships where she goes out there and she skates 2 clean programs, and quite frankly, if she does that, she could get second and Alyssa could get pushed to third, and then there's Ami. Like, Worlds could still be very, very interesting, for the record. But yeah, that's like, I think she knew when she finished that she might have cost herself the gold. But while she was skating, I think she just had to try and just skate the program as planned. She could have added a double loop to the end of her triple loop. She couldn't do a double toe because she had already done 2 double toes. That was another thing. Like, people were like, why didn't she put a double toe on something? It's because she had done like a triple Lutz double toe earlier in the program, and then she did her planned double axel, triple toe, double toe sequence. And you can only repeat a jump once, so you can't do 3 of the same jump. So she really was like, it just, that's what happens when you go the riskier route that she goes. Like, the payoff is huge if you do it well, but when you make that mistake, like, the mistakes are a bigger issue, even when it's like, to the untrained eye, it doesn't look like much happened. It looks like she just had one like slightly iffy landing. She still got like positive grade of execution on it by only like a couple tenths, I think. But so that's why like my emotions are mixed, because on one hand, like I feel so happy for Alyssa, and what's happening right now is crazy. I've cried multiple times thinking about Alyssa's story because it's so inspiring, and it's so like, obviously she's so much better than me, but it's also very similar to what I'm going through right now. So to see her be so successful is so beautiful and making me very emotional as I go through my own like comeback story. My comeback story is not hers. Her comeback story is her own, and it's beautiful, but I can't help but sit here and just be like amazed and inspired by what's going on. And I feel like Alyssa is changing the trajectory of our sport right now, and it's beautiful. And Cowdy is a big part of that too. And Cowdy is the best in the world. Make no mistake. No Olympic gold can change that fact. And it's awful, and it's like, it's so difficult to accept someone like her not having an Olympic gold medal. But that's competition. Figure skating is a sport, and competition, contrary to what some people are trying to say, it really is about who can go out there and skate and do their job. And at the end of the day, the 2 wins that Alyssa has over Cowdy is because Alyssa can go out and do her job. Cowdy can make those mistakes. And both times she's won gold, it's because Cowdy has not been able to go out and do 2 clean skates. A clean Cowdy beats a clean Alyssa by a lot. Cowdy would have beat Alyssa by like 6 points if she hadn't have made that mistake. Like, I don't think people understand. They were ready to give it to her. No amount of like overscoring of Alyssa per se that people say was happening, which I don't agree with, changes the fact that Cowdy was primed and ready, but she was not able to. And in this sport, if it were just about skating skills, if it were just about ice coverage and speed, which is what everyone seems to put so much weight to, when that's not the case, and that's never been the case. That's been, those skaters, when they go clean, deserve to win, but if they can't put it together, skaters who maybe have slightly weaker, the gap isn't big enough. Skating is a competition. If it always just came down to who was the most well-rounded skater, we would not be having competitions. We would be having judges go watch them skate, and they would pick a winner based off of skating skills, but that's not how it works. Not to mention, like, composition, everyone is like, there's a composition mark with program components. This is turning into a little bit of an event because I'm kind of tired of seeing people try and discredit Alyssa's win and call it overscoring when, like, Cowdy herself would say, yes, Alyssa deserved to win on the night. Like, she knows. She wasn't crying because she felt like she was robbed. She was crying because she knew she lost it when she made that mistake. And it's awful. And I feel so bad for Cowdy. Like, I want to make it very clear. I feel so bad for Cowdy. I wanted her to win, but I also think that Alyssa's win was correct. But like people say, the composition mark is ice coverage. That's one part of composition. Composition is also, are you timed with the music, which Alyssa has? Are you, like performing to the audience? Are you listening to the music? Like, there's all these different things that have to do with composition. It's not just about ice coverage. Yes, Alyssa's program is actually not very good on ice coverage, but that is not all there is to it. Like, it's, people focus on the thing they love most, and I agree, the Japanese skaters are the most well-rounded. They are the best. But it's very telling, if everyone went clean, the Japanese skaters would always be winning. The problem is, you have the skater from America who always goes clean, and her jumps were clean. She starts to get higher and higher scores because, like, the judges are like, I can assure you she's going to go out and do her job, and they're going to start to give it more and more because they love watching a skater that will go out and do her job every single time. Anyway, Alyssa's story is beautiful. I have been very emotional. I had no expectation of her winning. I was just wanting her on the podium. I was like, just please be on the podium. I would have been perfectly happy with the bronze medal. When she went out there and she skated clean and she was in first place with 2 skaters to go and we realized she was an Olympic medalist, I was perfectly happy with that. I think Ami Nakai was lowballed insanely. I almost felt like she should have gotten silver. They, for some reason, buried her in the free skate. And that was like the one thing I majorly disagreed with. I agreed with even Monet Chiba's scores. Like, she was very tight. She had clear under rotations. Alyssa did not. Ami didn't. Like, I did not agree with the cues that Ami got. Anyway, if you want to hear more, I'm going to make a very long video about the Olympics, and I'm going to put it on my skating channel. That is linked in the description. But I've been recording for over an hour now, so I do want to go ahead and stop so I can edit and get this video up as soon as I can. So, that was Medalist and an Olympics yet. But there it is. That's it for today's video. If you liked it, don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, leave a comment your thoughts. I will see you all in the next one. Mata ne!